Be quiet. It is so freezing out there today. Everything was frozen. The grass was frozen, the wind chills are frozen. I am thankfully not frozen. I'm here early morning to get a lifting session in. Alright, that workout was awesome, but I just remembered that I have a wee little assignment that I need to get done before I start class in about 40 minutes, so I'm gonna go do that.
It's okay.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
See you later. I just had a great vegan rant in class. So this awesome dude and filmmaker, Dave Gardner, who's a local in Colorado Springs, came and spoke to our class. He made a documentary called Growth Busters, which you should definitely check out. It's a cool film. His argument is that human overpopulation is just the biggest elephant in the room that we're not addressing in terms of combating climate change and also just getting our economy just better. He's all about lack of economic growth, but still making it better. That growth isn't necessarily the best. And I totally agree with his perspective. It makes all the sense in the world. But he failed to address the fact that as humans are overpopulating, we're also overpopulating the non-human animals that we breed and birth onto this planet to the order of over 100 billion large animals that poop and drink water and eat food. Almost just got hit by a car. So I got pretty passionate and outspoken in class because we had a discussion with him. He came into our class and I think he respected my passion, but still thought, that going vegan wasn't the biggest deal solution, which I disagree with. So this Growth Busters guy, Dave, he is not a bad guy at all. In fact, his net impact on the community and the world from an environmental perspective is definitely a net positive. He's doing awesome things. But he specifically made the claim that people who devote so much energy to veganism think that it's this one solution fixes all and that it's really not. What I love about the vegan movement is that it's backed up with data. So listen here. Number one, according to the FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United States, and the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, both acknowledge that livestock agriculture specifically is responsible for 18% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Transportation combined, meaning all the cars on the roads in the world, all of the elevators, the escalators, the airplanes, the trains, the boats, are responsible for 13% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Continuing on the topic of emissions, animal agriculture is responsible for 2.2 billion tons of CO2 equivalent. That's about 5% of total CO2 emissions in the world per year. When it comes to water use, animal agriculture by far over any industry uses and abuses the most water. Just to give you a nice little stat to hold on to, 1/4 pound of beef, one burger, uses 660 gallons of water to produce. That's about 2 months of showering. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna tell people not to shower for 2 months, which would totally ruin their life. They'd be a freak. Or can you just tell them to eat a veggie burger? And lastly, even though I could go on, animal agriculture is responsible for deforesting more land than any industry in the world. These are the lungs of our planet that sequester the most carbon. I am not saying that we shouldn't have anti-fracking activists or people encouraging others to ride their bicycles. That is all well and good. But what I am so freaking fed up about is people who make just like climate change or sustainability blogs or documentaries who don't talk at all about the largest, negative impactor to climate change, which is animal agriculture. Look, burning fossil fuels and the oil and gas industry and fracking is also a huge problem. So if you're making a documentary, according to the numbers that I just said, you should talk about those things maybe 40% and talk about animal agriculture as maybe 60%. It's completely backwards and unfair. Like documentaries like this and so many of them that I've watched don't even mention animal agriculture as a way to reduce your environmental footprint when it's the easiest and most effective, impactful one that you can do. It doesn't make sense. And you may be asking, then why? Why don't people talk about this? because food is personal. If you tell someone that they are killing an animal, abusing tons of water when people need water and are thirsty and starving of it in the world, you are slapping starving, hungry children in the face by losing so many calories in the process of creating animal products. And when you're abusing so many greenhouse gas emissions by eating meat over a plant-based diet, you are essentially attacking them in their core values because they eat 3 times a day. Also, people feel worse about it because if you tell someone to stop driving a car, that's impractical. They can't do it because it would really change their life, but no one really has an excuse not to go vegan. We need to start giving the people more credit and actually telling them truthful, valid information instead of just expecting that no one's going to go vegan, so I'm not going to talk about it. You're not a bad person if you're not vegan. You might be a bad person if you call yourself an environmentalist, know all the information, and choose not to do anything about it. Sorry for that aggressive rant, it just frustrates me, and this is my last block at college, and I'm just gonna be on turn my dial 100% and not allow any bullshit in my class. Okay, gonna go teach ceramics, and then I have a very exciting event tonight. Take your sponge, dump a bunch of water around your pot, put the wire under it, take off one piece of your splash pan, and then slide it onto. All right, Aaron, I am making your bowl, and I am also gonna show the class how to make bowls using your bowl. All right, Aaron, I have a question for you. Do you want me to inscribe the text on the inside or on the outside? Hey, Abe, will you notify the people what we're doing right now?
We're waiting to see John Krakauer. Separated.
Oh no!
Don't go into thin air.
Sorry, that was so good.
I'm obsessive, I admit it, I'm very obsessive. And so I can't get a story out of my head, and I don't know why at that point. I don't think Chris McCandless is interesting for these reasons. It's like, why did this kid do that? Why did he do that? And in McCandless' case, I realized years later that my fascination with McCandless was by writing about him, I hoped to learn about myself, things about myself, unconsciously. I wouldn't have known that then, but but I too, and that's why, in the Wild, there's these 2 chapters in the latter half of the book where I insert my own experience trying to climb this mountain in Alaska. And you're not supposed to do stuff like that, And I hear a lot of these poor middle schools who have to read my stupid book, who send me emails and say, not only do we have to read your stupid book, but you insert those chapters about yourself. This is a book about Chris McCandless. You had no right to write this down.
Not gonna lie, he was extremely captivating, just like his books. I was totally one of those little nature kids that read Into the Wild and just exploded at how moved I was, and also how desirable just the lifestyle of deciding to go out into the forest and just live and die and struggle. Like, I remember reading that and relating. Obviously, a lot has changed since I read that book probably 5 or 6 years ago. I don't intend to do that anymore, but so it's always in the back of the mind. Okay, it's time to head home and close down the night. And I forgot to mention to you guys, today is 420. If you don't know, which you probably do / should, it's National Weed Smoking Day, I guess. And let's just say the student body here at Colorado College is all about that. And multiple times today, it just happened to me, which, reminded me, I've just been walking outside on the street when there's not even that many people around, and it just reeks of weed on campus. People were really embracing it today, which I think is funny and awesome. Okay, much love, dream extreme, happy 420, whether you chose to celebrate or not.